my mindset so that I'm more comfortable talking to anyone that I meet. So before we get into all the tips and tricks, we have to establish a good foundation first. I gotta talk about the golden mindset I have before I enter any conversation or any social activity that I do. To quote Eckhart Tolle, you are neither inferior nor superior to anyone. So in other words, no one is above you, no one is below you. Every person that you meet is on an equal playing field. And I know it's like something that we subconsciously do where we like size ourselves up with the people that we meet, but if we don't keep this in check, we're gonna either end up with an inferiority complex or a superiority complex. An inferiority complex is essentially when you feel like someone is better than you. And inferiority comes in all different types of flavors. It could be someone who's more successful than you, someone's older than you, someone who's more beautiful, more followers, more intelligent. When you feel less than and when you're feeling insecure and you're feeling intimidated, you are not allowing your true self to shine. You're not giving yourself a fair chance to have people get to know who you truly are. And a superiority complex is when you feel like you are better than or more elevated than someone. It's an assumption that just because you're further along a certain path in your life or more knowledgeable about a certain topic, you feel like you can just dominate someone. You can come off smug, arrogant, condescending. And again, you're not giving people a fair shot to get to know who you are because you have this inflated sense of self. And there's an argument to be made that those with a superiority complex are just struggling with their inferiority complex. It really is like a balancing act. So bottom line, recognize that no one is higher than you, no one is below you. And when you channel this energy, you give off grounded, calm, like I know myself energy, and ultimately that's the kind of vibes that I'm looking for, and that's the kind of vibes that people are drawn to. And one huge way that I'm able to be more attuned with myself is through therapy. This is also when I want to take a quick minute to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Therapy is the biggest contributor to the development of my self-growth, my confidence. I only see a net positive on going to therapy, whether you're going through like an objectively difficult time, or if you just want to take a beat to reflect on what's happening with your life. So BetterHelp connects you to a licensed professional therapist that's not only trained to listen, but to give unbiased advice. You can get started by going on my link, betterhelp.com/Jen. There are over 4 million people who have spent and devoted time to getting to know themselves so much better. And I know getting started with anything can feel daunting, especially with therapy. You might be worrying about finding a therapist who's the right fit, or you're like intimidated with face-to-face interaction, but through BetterHelp, they can help find a good match for you. They have over 30,000 therapists that range from a broad expertise that might not be available in your area. Getting started is super simple. You just fill out a questionnaire that assesses your needs, and then you're matched with your therapist in 48 hours or less. I just love the accessibility of this because you get to schedule a time that works for you, and then you decide whether you want a video call, a phone call, or even text messaging. Like, it really caters to your comfort level. And of course, if you're not vibing with your therapist, BetterHelp allows you to switch to a new one at no additional cost. There's no need to worry about like insurance or whether someone's in your network or anything like that. It's just like funny how no one bats an eye when we spend like hours of our time devoted to our physical health, when it's just as important to carve out time focusing on our mental health. So if you're interested in trying therapy out for yourself, click the link in the description box or just go to betterhelp.com/Jen. That's betterhelp.com/Jen for 10% off your first month. Clicking that link helps support this channel and allows you to explore your inner mind with the help of a licensed therapist. Next up, let's go over some prep work. So this is kind of like a subconscious checklist that I have in my mind before I enter a conversation. First, I reflect on the things that are going on with my life, because chances are when you talk to someone, you're gonna receive the questions like, how are you? How was your week? What's been happening? What's new? And in the past, I would find myself like mildly irritated with these questions because I was like,
I hate small talk.
and sometimes my mind would just go blank. But then I realized that it was up to me to do some reflection beforehand, so I had something to say. So before you go out, ask yourself these questions. How are you? Like, how are you really? what happened during the week. This is where my journal and my calendar come in so clutch, because it's like a running inventory of the things I did, the ideas that I had, the things that I learned. And so I select maybe 3 or 4 items on that list, and I just keep them stored in my mind. So that way I am not flustered when someone asks me just a very simple question. And these highlights can look like anything. It could be something that I learned in a podcast or a book. It could be like, did I come back from a trip? Did I add a new regimen to my life? Was there something amusing that happened this week? Or did I have an aha moment? And so yeah, I just gather these things so that way I am prepared. And if you struggle with this and you don't journal, I highly recommend just trying out the activity of morning pages. This is when you get a notebook, big or small, and you fill out 3 pages every day. It doesn't need to be in the morning. But ever since I started this practice during lockdown, it has really helped me retain the information and the events that are happening in my life. And in these pages, I would write about anything. It could be about my day, a conversation that I had, like a summary of an article that I read, like from news, health, science, tech, like anything. I just put it all on that page, and it just helps me create topics that I'm interested in. And the thing is, the more subjects that you are curious about, the more range of topics that you can discuss with other people. I feel like I should give like an example. So if someone asks me,
"Hey Jen, how are you?"
I'll be fairly honest. I'll be like, if I'm having a good week, I'll be like, oh, like I've been pretty good. Been grounded, stable, just been in a good season in my life. I think it's because I've been getting like a large amount of sleep. Like I really cleaned up my sleep hygiene routine. I read that book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and it